The book of Genesis was compiled during a formative period in Israel's history, likely during the post-exilic era when the Jewish people were reconstructing their national and religious identity. The stories of the patriarchs, including Isaac's experiences in Genesis 26, served as powerful reminders of God's covenant faithfulness during times of uncertainty. The ancient Near Eastern context of the narrative reveals a world where wells represented both survival and territorial claims, and where formal treaties between tribal leaders were essential for maintaining peace in regions with limited resources. The social and political landscape of Isaac's time was characterized by complex relationships between semi-nomadic herders and established city-states. The Philistines, represented by Abimelech, controlled the more fertile coastal regions, while patriarchs like Isaac operated on the margins, constantly negotiating access to vital resources. This tension between established powers and vulnerable outsiders reflects the historical experience of Israel itself, which often found itself caught between greater empires. Prior to our lesson, Genesis 26 narrates Isaac's journey through the land during a famine. Like his father Abraham before him, Isaac faced challenges with local authorities, lied about his relationship with his wife, and experienced disputes over wells. These conflicts pushed him from place to place until he finally arrived at Beersheba. It was here, at this pivotal moment, that God appeared to Isaac with words of reassurance and covenant renewal. In verse 24, we read the powerful encounter. The Lord appeared to him the same night and said, I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your descendants for my servant Abraham's sake. This divine visitation came at a critical juncture in Isaac's life. After experiencing rejection and conflict, God's words, do not fear, addressed Isaac's immediate emotional state. In our own lives, God often meets us at our points of greatest vulnerability, speaking directly to our deepest anxieties. When we face rejection, displacement, or uncertainty, God's promise of presence, I am with you, remains our greatest comfort. Isaac's response in verse 25 reveals a profound spiritual maturity. So he built an altar there and called on the name of the Lord and pitched his tent there. And there Isaac's servants dug a well. Notice the sequence. Worship preceded dwelling, which preceded provision. Isaac prioritized his relationship with God above all else, establishing sacred space before securing practical necessities. In our achievement-oriented culture, we often reverse this order, seeking financial security, career stability, or relationship fulfillment before establishing our spiritual foundations. The narrative takes an unexpected turn in verses 26 to 31 when Abimelech, accompanied by his advisor and army commander, travels to meet Isaac. These were the very people who had previously asked Isaac to leave their territory. Isaac's initial response, "Why have you come to me, since you hate me?" reveals his lingering hurt. Yet Abimelech acknowledges, "We have certainly seen that the Lord is with you." Isaac's transformed life and evident blessing had become a powerful testimony, visible even to those who had rejected him. This reminds us that our consistent faith, especially through adversity, can impact even those who initially oppose us. The passage culminates with a peace treaty between former adversaries, sealed with a feast and mutual oaths. Isaac demonstrates remarkable grace by hosting those who had wronged him and agreeing to peaceful coexistence. In our polarized society where grudges are nursed and reconciliation is rare, Isaac's willingness to make peace offers a challenging model. True spiritual maturity is often revealed not in how we treat our friends, but in how we respond to those who have hurt or rejected us. The final verses report the discovery of water and the naming of Beersheba, well of the oath. This conclusion beautifully ties together the themes of divine provision and human covenant. After Isaac prioritized worship and pursued peace, the practical provision he needed was discovered water. The naming of Beersheba commemorated both the human treaty and divine faithfulness, creating a lasting testimony to future generations. For us today, Isaac's experience at Beersheba offers profound guidance. When facing rejection or uncertainty, our first response should be to seek God's presence rather than human solutions. When blessed by God, we should recognize that our prosperity is meant to be a testimony to others about God. When confronted by former adversaries, we should be open to reconciliation rather than nursing past grievances. And when experiencing God's provision, we should create lasting memorials that remind us and others of divine faithfulness. In a world of shifting relationships and uncertain resources, Isaac's example calls us to anchor our lives in God's unchanging promises and to call upon the name of the Lord. That's the lesson for this week. Have a great week.